Good evening, everybody. It is indeed Monday. It is 6 p.m. and this is the clinic. Welcome indeed to the clinic. I'm on camera so you can see me. I'm on a share screen so you can see a blank screen there. I am recording, that is the way it is, and I'll be sharing the recording if it turns out to be something useful. Now, hi Dave, welcome. Hello Thomas, welcome to you. Welcome everybody, and it's nice to have you here. Thanks for joining. Hello Sakti. As always, your input, your questions are what will make anything worthwhile. Now, I thought I'd sent myself an email with a reminder of something we could start with, but I can't find it, so I won't worry. I can't see it anyway. Also, you'll notice I've got this fancy background now, and it's because all my archery kit's in the background and lots of other things that not everybody needs to see or wants to see and all that. So I thought a background would make things a little more professional. Hi Damon, hello Ben, another David, Bruce, hello to you. Welcome everybody. It is nice to have you all on. Now, what did I want to start with? The screenshot I thought I'd emailed to myself is data, analytics, and decisions. Okay? Dave's taken over. Okay, cool. You explain what that means, and I'm open to ideas. Data, analytics, decisions. Very often, and this is the topic I want to kick off with. Consistency is the main point. Nice one. You're on the call. Consistency is the main point. It's the main thing that pretty much everybody I ever speak to is looking for. How can I get consistency? How can I achieve consistency? Well, my first question is, are you giving consistency? Because if you cycle to a place every day, if you drive to a place every day, it should take the same amount of time every day to get from A to B. There can be traffic, there can be sheep, there can be cows, this is Ireland, there can be tractors, there can be any number of things in the way. But on balance of probability, your journey should take the same time. So I always say to people, data, analytics, decisions. That's what we're looking at here. There is data on the chart, and we should always, but always apply the common sense approach to trading. And there is a common sense approach to trading. We can look at the chart and we can ask, there's a bar. Is it green or is it red? Is it a buyer bar? Is it a seller bar? Is it a high test bar, a low test bar, an inside bar, an engulfing bar? Is it part of a pattern? We can ask all of those questions from a single bar. And that's useful, that's knowledge. And then we can ask, what do the indicators tell us? And the indicators then is the common sense approach, and it's the think it through part. Because yet you've got knowledge, and knowledge is part of common sense. But think it through, because, oh, it's a buyer bar, I must buy it. So you're going to buy it on the OSH1T, it's going up method. Oh, it's red, I'm going to sell it. So you're selling it on the OSH1T, it's going down method. I don't think so. Well, you might, but you shouldn't. So what does this bar tell us? And then what do the indicators tell us? And that's thinking it through. Now, many people will say indicators don't work, or indicators stop working, or, well, let's start with indicators don't work. And I'm going to add a very simple one onto this chart. I'm going to add an exponential moving average. No prizes for guessing the values on it. So now we're thinking it through. We're thinking it through. Oh, look, a buyer bar and it's closed above a green line. Oh, look, a seller bar that's closed below a red line. You're now adding the common sense portion, the thinking it through. And then we can say, okay, now the common sense is there, the knowledge is there, I know I've got a seller bar or a buyer bar, and the thinking it through is there because I've got an indicator that agrees with what it is I'm looking at. Cool. Then you should ask the third question, probably the most important. How does this affect me? And in so many ways, that part of the common sense equation is overlooked, not just in trading, but in life generally. You see Karens, and no offense to Karen, if our Karen is online here, but you see the YouTube videos of Karen or Ken or Kevin or whatever he's called, and they're doing really stupid things, and they keep doing them. And it doesn't matter how deep the hole is. And I'm really sorry, Karen. I know you're here, and it's a term. I know you. I know you are not that kind of person. So it's a bum rap for anyone who's really called Karen that YouTube has decided to name that person Karen, because it's not fair. I know a few Karens, and none of them are like that. Or a Kevin or a Ken or whatever it may be. It is what it is. My point is, there is somebody busy digging a hole for himself, a very deep hole, and they just keep digging. Literally, they keep digging and making things worse and worse and worse. I've learned over the years, and there's 15 of them in the bank with Kasher and I, that if there's something wrong, if there's an argument, shut up. Just shut up. Okay. And apply the common sense approach. The common sense approach, okay, something is wrong. Thinking it through, might have been my fault, might not, doesn't matter. How will this affect me? That matters a lot. Shut up, it will affect me an awful lot less. It's the same with trading. I've done it wrong. Stop, and it will affect me an awful lot less. I'll make no apologies for adding this. You all know he's my favourite secondary indicator. MACD. Bump. Add. Okay, now we're really thinking it through. Because does that buyer bar close above a green line? There you go, Bob's eldest is a Karen. And has that crossed through zero? What's your problem? We're looking at a euro dollar. That's pips. Do we need a bar chart? We'd probably get away with a line chart with this strategy. Oh, look. Yes, yes, yes. Yes. Bit dodgy until here, and yes. Okay, that's the common sense approach to trading. Now, how does one get consistency? I believe we need at least a bar, not a line chart. Why? Because it's got a close on it. And now a bar closes, and let's just add the indicator so that we can see it in full view here. Time to close bar. Add. Boom. 43 seconds. Okay, that bar will close in 40 seconds. But there was a countdown on that bar. It reached a point in time, and there was a clear and present, it's now. Remember the old speaking clock? For those of us who are old enough to remember, there used to be a clock on the old dial phones. I don't know if it's still there, but you'd go 1, 2, 3 on your old circular dial telephone, and you would get a message that said, at the third stroke, the time, sponsored by Accurist, as it was back then, will be 1808 or 1809 precisely. Beep, beep, beep. And the beep, the third beep, was the 1809 that you could push the button in on your watch and be bang on the second for at least a minute if it was a Timex. Depending on the type of watch you had, you would be in tune with the atomic clock, Tim, the speaking clock, for a couple of days. Depending, obviously now these days with these, mine's this is an EcoDrive Citizen thing. It's remotely plugged into something somewhere and it updates automatically. So it is what it is. But there you go. There is a bar that still has 26 seconds of life left. Do we have a decision to make? No, we could draw a fib. It's broke the fib, or the last valid fib here in any case. But it hasn't broke the fib before that. So we could extend the initial fib to see where we are in terms of the 38, the 100% or what have you, and where are our upper targets on the ladder. Of course, let's move our mugs. I'm going to move our mugs down here. I still want to be on the camera because I want people to know that this is live. So that's the consistency point and the how series, and this is the first one of how. For those of us again who are old enough to remember, there was a TV show many years ago. It's perhaps not centuries, but it is many years ago. I think it was in the 70s, and it might have aired until as late as 81 maybe. But it was how, and there would be TV presenters much the same as Blue Peter and Magpie and those programs. and they would, how does this work? How does that work? And they would present, there you go, Damon remembers it. They would present how things happen, how things are made, how things work. How does trading work? We have data. It's right there on the screen I'm looking at, or one of the screens I'm looking at. Your all chats are all coming up above it. We have data. We analyze the data, and then we make a decision. Should I do anything at the close of this bar? Effectively, there is some divergence against me. Yes, I should. If I'm in a trade, I should lock in because there is divergence against me. So, reason. I have a reason to do something, or I do nothing. I'm very good at doing nothing. It's possibly why I'm a good trader. I do a lot of nothing. And again, if you ask my Kasha, she'll tell you, yeah, he's good at nothing. But that's, that's the way it is. I'm very good at doing nothing. I would have locked in because there is divergence against me. What else is there? Look at that, 1.0696. What is just out of sight there? A 1.07. A big round number. You see? Data. Why is this happening? Because we are struggling around a big round number. Analytics tells us that. A decision to lock in tight. Oh, but we've come out the trade now. Yeah, but with profit. Do we care once we've made profit? What will we do now? Well, we'll wait for the next valid signal. We wouldn't go chasing a bus now, would we? We'd be trying for our first or perhaps second or third heart attack. We let the buses come to us. We let the trains come to us. We chase nothing. That's what we get dogs for. If you are, and I assume since you're on here, you're human, you might have a dog. You might like dogs. If they ain't chasing the ball, and I do have one, if she isn't chasing the ball, I'm not getting it. Wherever it landed when I kicked it, that's where it's staying, Sally, and that's your lot. You go and get it, or it's staying there. And all. Same here. I'm not chasing trades. Why am I consistent? Because I'm not chasing trades. Now we've 48 people online here today in this live session, and I thank you all for joining me on it. It is the first in the series. There will be a Monday evening next week and the week after and the week after, at least until we run out of material for educationals. The point is, it's educational. I will want your input. I will want your questions. I decided that the first topic should be consistency and how do we get it, because it seems so elusive. But I suggest and I maintain that people are not giving consistency. That's what I suggest, and I maintain that. I stand by that. If I was the judge, the jury, the boss, if I was the CEO of our little trading enterprise, I would be here with a gavel or a hammer or something and saying, no, you're not giving consistency. Now, I'm not going to be that mean, but that's what it is. There you go. A question. What's better, using indicators to get into a trade or using them as a reason not to take it? Both are necessary in equal measure there. You need an indicator to get you in. You need an indicator to tell you when not to get in. Divergence would tell you, don't take it now. It's too late now. Rejecting a big round number would tell you, don't take it now. It's a bit late now. Those things, they're given by indicators, be they a visible one, like the green and red line on screen or the MACD there, or an invisible one like the big round number, the 1.07, that is 5 pips away from where we are right now. That would be an invisible indicator, but it's right there. It's resistance, isn't it? That's exactly what it is. A big round number, it's resistance. So as far as I'm concerned, I use an indicator to get in and to get out, to not get in or to not get out. That's it. Any decision I make must be given to me by an indicator. Taking a trade, not taking a trade. Getting in, not getting in. Getting out, not getting out. There's really only those 6 things, isn't there? There might be more, but I haven't thought it through. Now, I'll remind you all, last week, I think it might have been Karen who asked, brilliant question by the way, Karen. Karen asked, there was a trade there, either side, you took that one and you took that one. Why didn't you take this one? And I don't remember the exact time of the trade. I remember it was the DAX, and the reason I didn't take it is because we had a pink line, our pink line, right there, wasn't it? I think that was it. There was resistance, and I think we might have hopped, but that line was just in the way. I needed to see us that we were going to go through the pink line, and on the next signal we went through the pink line, didn't we? Does that sound fair? Do you remember that, Karen? You being a woman, you'll remember. I Yeah, you go. Yeah, I have a yes in the questions. Thanks for that, Karen. I appreciate it. Um, and there you go. There was a decision to get in. There was a decision not to take a trade, Michelle. You see that? Remember it? You were probably on that session. There was a reason to not go in all day. Now this one we agreed we'd have locked in. Now I have no other major indicators on here, and you all that are my students, my attendants, the people who know me, the people who are on my live sessions regularly, you know that's not our go-to indicator by any means. I don't know where it is, where it stands, how it stands, whether I would have locked in safely or whether I would have been taken out. But you guys that are watching on your own, there you go, you didn't factor in the EMA. Thanks for that, Karen. There you go, there's a point. Exactly, I didn't factor in the EMA. I like to think I factor in everything. Now, there's a very clever lady. Is she on? She's not. Okay. All right, there's a very clever lady. She's not on, so I can tell it like it is. A very clever and very pretty lady who I talked into coming with me to the Dublin Traders meetup thingy. Not romantically inclined, just we were, she's a really nice lady. She's a trader. She's a member of our group. And I said, come with me to this Dublin thing. It's a group of traders. We get together, we drink beer and we talk trading. I won't be drinking real beer because I've got to drive. On the way back, she was asking a lot of questions about trading, naturally, of course, and I was answering them. And I think I got a bit too cocky. Happy to admit I got too cocky. We were in my car, it's the Jaguar. We were in that car and I was flying along the N7, probably showing off a little bit much. I know there's a speed trap where I got caught. But here's the series of events that happened. She was asking something about the car and how this and how that, and I pushed it a bit. I let it, when you kick down at speed and you suddenly get that sort of, oh, I'm in launch control mode here, and it takes you. I did that. At the same time, a phone call came through. Now my car takes over my phone, but on the screen it says no caller ID. I won't take them. But I watched it for a minute because sometimes it changes to, yeah, it's Kasha, take the call. But it didn't. It said no caller ID, no caller ID. And I just said, I see everything. And I like to think I see everything. But distraction. Now, in my sessions, often I say, well, I've missed that one because I was looking at the long range. I've missed that one because, and I do miss some. Or I have to lock in tight because I get distracted. So I've got a phone going, this very pretty lady, of course, I mean, I'm still a man. I was looking at the pretty lady, I was talking to the pretty lady, and I was aware there's a bloody speed trap up here, I may be careful. Just as I looked up, there he is, and he's in a BMW. Oh no! And I came off the gas, I tapped the paddles to bring the gears down so there's no sign of brake lights or anything. And no, but he had me anyway. So straight away, without I'll just act like I didn't see him, I moved over, and he came out behind me with the lights on, and I immediately indicated and pulled over on the hard shoulder. And I got myself 3 points there. They'll be off at the end of this year, I believe. So fair enough. I'll take it on the chin. Distraction, though. Distraction is what caught me. Normally on that journey, I do see everything, and normally I'd have had another 20 miles an hour again on the speed that got me caught. I think I was doing 140 something, and he that's what he clocked me at. But I would perhaps go a little bit quicker than that sometimes. But with full attention to the road, no attention at all to the phone, no text, no phone calls, no nothing, not interested. I'm just scanning the long range for the reflection in the distance, because these police cameras and police cars, they're very high vis, aren't they? It's very difficult to miss them. These indicators that we're looking at on the screen, they're very high vis, aren't they? It's very difficult to miss them. And if you think they're not, you can make them a little bit bigger. Mine are all color coded. Green, green, buy. Red, red, sell. And I think it's very difficult to get it wrong. But that's because I find it quite difficult to get it wrong. You've all been on me sessions. How often do we get our butts handed to us on a silver plate in a trade? We don't. There's very, very seldom I'm having to say, oh, I'm sorry for that one, lads, we're taking a minus here, and a minus there, and a minus there. No, because we're looking for a particular direction, for a particular reason. And then we've got a particular entry point and a particular target. And all of it is given to us consistently by indicators, be they visible like the ones you can see, or invisible like the big round number that is just off screen, and we've discussed it already. So what are we on? We're on 6:20. We've been on for 20 minutes. I've probably waffled lots and lots. Again, I want to say data, analytics, decision. That's it. That's what we're doing here. We are data analysts and risk managers. It's any other job in the world, if you like. I suppose on the one hand I can say I've a benefit. What is it? What can I say? A background that is of benefit. I was an accountant for many years, but I'm by no means a qualified accountant. I part qualified and then I did it from experience. Anyone in business can do what it was I did. And if you're not in business, you're a trader. This is your own business. You've a business plan and hopefully you've populated it, in which case you're thinking with a business head on business shoulders. But for me, I would say above the line and below the line, an income statement and a balance sheet, or a turnover, which is vanity, and the gross profit, which is sanity. So you can say, oh, I made this many pips. How much did it cost you? How many losses did you take? Then you end up with a net win, a win-loss ratio, and that's what's important. And then you can judge or you can measure and manage what your whole percentage is, and that's important. But that's accounting and it's business, and that's all. Shane says, as a newbie, what education on the hub do you suggest to start with on pod? Well, go through the videos there, Shane, and then Baby Pips is somewhere you should make yourself familiar with. What I'll do, I'll share on here a website. I'll go over here and I'll type, it's already there, look at that, Baby Pips, bump, Baby Pips, learn Forex. I will click that button, I will say sign in, and you should see that it recognizes me, it knows who I am. And in here, I've my own little forum in here. There are many you can click. I should be able to click on that. There you go. I've got 3 followers, look at that, and 349 people have looked at a strategy that I put on here. You will recognize that strategy. It's a free one that I share. It depends where you came to me, but it's called the DT2 or the DWL3 or Dynamic Edge. It is what it is. But there are many contributors on here, and there is an education section, and the education section is free, and I would absolutely recommend that. Because one of the things it will do for you, it will teach you all the basics, all the really sort of basics, the basics. If you think I haven't done it, I could reach over there. There's another cupboard, and I could open that cupboard and I could take it out a file binder, and in that file binder is the whole of that Baby Pips course, all of it, lock, stock and barrel. It's obviously dated way back when I did it. It would have been about 2007, maybe 8, maybe. That's when I worked my way through that course. But putting myself through that course made me able to quit my job in 2012, and I just trade now, and that's it. I'm happy. Here you go. Look, we're looking at a decision. There's a close below a line which is now red. Okay, and that's in sell mode. It's not a hopper as at there, but it is indeed an RTF, a reverse trigger finger. So the data gives you the analytics, which provides you with the tools or the information to make a decision. If only politicians used something like that, data analytics, and then they made a decision instead of saying, I know, Daddy thinks it'll be a really good idea. We all see in Spit and Image, don't we? And you know what I mean. It's a bloody joke, isn't it? Speaking of Dynamic Edge, that's what I learned when first meeting you. After 1 year, I chose to continue with DE. Why is it no longer a strategy you use? It is redundant because of our upgrades. Nady, sorry. We use things that outrank Dynamic Edge. Dynamic Edge isn't dead, it still works. As you can see, there are elements of it on this screen right now. I'm showing you how simple it can be. I've got two indicators on screen, primary, secondary. That's how simple it can be. And yet, people will overthink. Oh, but I must have this, and I must have that, and I must have. Alrighty then. Are you going to use them? You know, they right now there is somebody in a BMW factory in Germany fitting indicators to a car that will the indicators will never ever be used in a manner befitting indicators generally. But he's there putting them on. You know, we're talking about indicators, so I thought that would be a sensible thing to say. But that's it. Some poor bugger is out there right now in Germany fitting indicator sticks and lights and everything to a BMW. They're never, ever going to be used. If you're not going to use it, get rid of it. On your chart, you don't use the middle Bollinger White line, right? Yeah, but remember, since I wrote the trading code, we've progressed. Unfortunately, when you write something that you commit to print, it's written and it's committed to print. You then may grow and establish something that is different, easier, less complicated, more complicated, but things evolve. You know, somebody wrote books and then other things happened that meant those books now, okay, well, the science behind that don't measure up anymore. You know, it is what it is. I wouldn't suggest you don't, it's not a bad rule. The double white lines were created, and I got a reminder the other day in 2017 because some fool traded with another fool, and the first fool went into a trade that it went up, and down. And the other fool said, oh, hang on to it, it'll come back. It never came back. He gave away £8,000 in about an hour and a half because he held on to the trade. If he'd have just got out, and that's why I made the double white lines. And if you've seen that post on social media, you'll see the lines on it. It says a particular person has made an error and he's got me thinking. And this is, this will be kicked about and turned into a strategy. It was the double white lines, the birth of them in 2017. September 16th, 2 days ago, 6 years ago. And Tracy says, how do you manage emotions to the point where you trade without emotion? I think what you have to do is draw upon your history. It is Tracy, isn't it? You have to draw upon your history and remember what you've been through. And not one of us here have had a squeaky clean, easy, silver spoon life. I'm sure of it. I am absolutely sure of it because I've spoken to many of you. So you draw upon the worst situation you've been on in your life and you say, am I still here? I'm still here. Kasia and I were talking about it earlier. We were talking about people who have this victim mentality and victim syndrome. And I said, no, you know what, when the worstest things happen to me, and I've had some bad things happen to me, the worstest injuries, and I say, now that's going to leave a mark. I didn't say that's going to kill me. I said that's going to leave a mark. And I'm talking about serious injuries. I've spent time in a coma. I woke up from the coma, 8 days in the coma, and I woke up and, just crack on. All right, can I go home now? I didn't know 8 days had gone by, but I asked, when can I go home? You only just woke up. Thomas says, when I backtest and trade history, I can be consistent with decisions, just clicking bar at a time. The problem for me is the live chart and the emotions causing me to make decisions that I wouldn't normally take. You've got to cut out the emotion. You've got to. That's it. It's the only real way is to cut out the emotion. You've been on live sessions with me. How often do you hear, oh no, what am I to do? How often do you hear, oh yeah, okay, sometimes I'm cheerful because it's doing what we said it was going to do. But I'm never overly excited and I'm never overly depressed. We have to look at it on an, it is what it is. basis. We have to always have that mentality. It is what it is. It will be what it will be. Isn't there songs? Think about the songs. Listen to your breathing. Hear music in your head. Do anything but mess with it. Thomas, close bar to close bar. If that's how you're back testing it, that's how you should be trading it. And then you're giving the same consistency in both fields. Shane says, I'm used to getting kicked about in the market. Stop getting kicked about in the market. Just, follow the rules of the signal. Did they change? No, the rules remain the same. Get in when there's a signal, get out when there's a signal. Do as you're told. Buy the charts, and the emotions then fall away. Nice one. Still here trying to get better. And Thomas says, I've been really focusing on my emotions. Okay. And then choosing to step out when I'm not in an optimal state. Excellent. Because how many times have you heard me say, I'm not touching it, lads. This happened, that happened. I'm not feeling it. I don't feel like I'm on form. I'm not doing it. But that's a signal that I like to look over. But my emotional state isn't right. I've had whatever it is I've had. I tell the truth and I walk it like I talk it. That's it. Henrik says the only emotion that's allowed is a sense of sureness. Yeah, a sureness that the indicators won't lie. Nady says, does ThinkTrader automatically update when I sign in? Not necessarily, Nady. If you create an account on another computer, it doesn't migrate your information from one to the other. You have to take it from there. And remember, that is a case of going into if we go in here and we go PC, I'm going to go view Hiddenite. Oh, it's ticked. View C, users. You've got to go in the root here. I'm admin on this machine. App data, local, ThinkTrader, desktop, Trade Interceptor desktop, app data, and then you need this file, Nady. This one down here. There is a YouTube video on it, so you can find the YouTube video. You want that file, and you would right click on it, and you would copy it and save it to a disk somewhere, a USB chip or something, and then you can paste that file from there to your new PC. Okay, once you've completed that, deselect hidden files, close that, and you should be all right. But that's it. But yeah, it remembers what you had. Like, there you go. I've got a MACD and an EMA only on a new PC. That's right. If I was to close this down right now, ThinkTrader, and reopen it, this is what it would reopen on. I have not saved this template. This is a template that I've not saved, but it knows what I've got. It's like an Excel spreadsheet. If you switch your computer off with Excel still open, you get the message, would you like to restore this file? And you've got the option. Well, this one, it doesn't even give you that option. It just says, there's where you were. That's what you had open. So there it is. You've still got it open. So it does have a memory, and it does save what you need saved. But yeah, only when you're on a new PC do you need to copy and paste it, and you can't do it onto a phone. You've got your smartphone, and you can have your ThinkTrader on that for the alarms, but you can't. You can never copy from one place to the other there. Well, I've never tried, so I don't think you can. How are we doing? Any more questions? These are good questions, by the way. Thanks for that. Appreciate your input. I am recording it. I will upload the recording. And if we don't use anything regarding our major strategies, I will make it public so everyone can see it. What is the MD2X? It stands for Modern Day Double Cross, Kim. That's what it is, and it's written about in book 1, and it's a very uncomplicated, simple strategy that you can apply to any market and any time frame. It's a nice strategy. I made it to be simple, and when I first started, there was a double cross. You've all seen the pictures from my friend Jacek, who started. He was the first guy I ever taught. If I go desktop and trading and other. Oops, that's not it. Other, we go in there. These pictures here, there's some charts on these ones. I'll go to that one, the fourth one. And there it is. Look, a double cross. One cross here, one cross there. Modern day. So that was the old double cross. 1, 2. It was called the double cross back as far as, see that, 2014. two crosses, that's it. Now we've got a modern day double cross, and the indicators at the top are a lot more powerful, a lot better than the indicators at the top from the old days, if you like. Thomas says, if we talk any strategies, could you turn off this part of the recording so we can share this? I have a friend I'd love to share it with. If you're sharing it with a friend, Thomas, share away. Chuck says, I'm new to this group. You refer to the hopper. Is this when yes, the line of the MACD crosses the level 0. So that would be a sell hopper right there, Chuck. That would be a buy hopper right there. And it's a very powerful signal. That's it. As you can see, if you sold when he crossed down, you'd have made pips. If you bought when he crossed up, you'd have made pips. On balance of probability, then, it's a very strong indicator. Do I like, don't mind on this strategy? Say again for me, Kim, in different words. I'm not sure what you mean. Do I like, don't mind on this strategy? The MD2X, it is a nice strategy. I think you will like it. It does, obviously it has a MACD on it. It's like, don't focus. Okay. Yeah, don't focus on it. No problem. Thank you, Kim. Shashani. Nady, why have I... because you get a double cross with those two, Nady. You have a double signal. We've been through that, so you do know it. So what I might do is on the live one in the morning, should you be there, I will point out. But if you go into, and you do have it, if you go into this folder, trading folder, and you look in the PDF docs, you see there where there's a chart signs. It's also in book 2. The chart signs right on there is why we have those. So your answer is right there. It's clear. It's right there on that piece of paper, that PDF document. Why have them? Because it's a stronger in your face kind of thing, you know? It's like I do say to some of the men that trade or learn with me, because no offense, men are easier to teach because we know women know more than us, so we know not, and we just crack on, you know. And then we're told by our wives and by these indicators what it is we should be doing, and we listen because we're men. However, women tend to know better. No offense. That said, a lot of the women in this group are better than the men in this group. Quickly, you know, so I don't have to wash my foot down with a glass of water. But the details are in there for sure, absolutely. And we like the strong detail. Tracy says, you've taught many people. What would you say is the distinguishing factor of those who have achieved consistency and are full-time traders? Discipline. And the fact that they listened the first time. It's very few of them who've had to ask why we have that and that. Why do you have this line and that line? There's very few of them who've said to me, all my bars are red when the indicator is, and I don't understand why all the bars are red or all the bars are green. The people who did the lesson 5 homework and the lesson 6 homework and the 2 and the 3, those people who did that homework, it's them. That's the distinguishing factor. They did their homework. You cannot hide anything from them. If I put an indicator on screen, or if I say I'm going to launch this new strategy, let's have a look. You put it on screen, they go, oh well, it's got this on it, and there's a piece of that where, oh wow, okay. Why? Because they did their lesson 5 homework. That's why. They know what that indicator tells them or doesn't. They know what it omits or doesn't. How many people use an RSI or a stochastic or blah, 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 blah? They haven't got a negative. They've got no minus. There is no below 0 in them. For me, that's a problem. It's an issue. For them, that would be a problem and an issue. Because, okay, but it's below 50. Well, if you get me $49 or £49, I'm still going to be happy that I got something. Are you with me? But if it's minus 10 or it's minus 3, we're talking down now, aren't we? The hardest thing I find is knowing when not to take a trade. You often say it's a signal but. Well, the but, we just mentioned it a few minutes ago, Karen. Remember the pink line last week? Was it Thursday? When you said, why didn't you take that one? Big pink line in the way. It was an indicator. There might be a pink line, there might be a big round number, there might be divergence. There'll be one of those things. It might be not quite a hopper. It might be anything along those things. The trading code, page 22. Only if I can open it on another machine, on another screen, because I don't know what's on page 22. Yeah, the big picture. That's it, Karen. Can I maybe follow that one up with you, Kim? After this session's over, I'll have a look at what's on page 22, because I don't share that book with everybody, only with our members, remember. But yeah, I'll follow up with you personally when I see what's on page 22. The big picture, that's what I was talking about before, Karen, when I said I was in the car driving and I was distracted and I was there busy showing off. I see everything, and yeah, wouldn't you know, that's the moment, the phone call, the conversation, and there was something else. There was one other thing. I was talking about the car, there's like 3 things on the go, but I'm a guy, we can't multitask. And then I saw the speed trap, and if I'd have seen it, I don't know, maybe 4 seconds earlier, if the phone call hadn't have come through right then, I'd have saw him, I'd have got that. Because I was about to say, because there's always a, and there it was. Yeah, and there it was. You do, yeah, you need to see it, and you need to see it all. If you can't see it all, like you can see, I've only got 2 indicators on the screen there now, Karen, but normally we'd have at least 3, wouldn't we? And there might be 2 of one particular one. Might be 2, in which case people say, oh, now there's 4, oh, now it looks busy. It's the same indicator. They don't tell you the same story. Like if we had another EMA and it wasn't green where the green is and red where the red is, we're not doing anything then, are we? They've both got to be green, or they've both got to be red. That's the way it is. Then they tell the same story. Then they concur. Then you can have it. Look, did it close below a red line? Yes, it did. Did it go below 0? Yes, it did. Then there's your decision. You're in. Did we have divergence ahead of this move? We did. We looked at it earlier. We had the higher highs, we had the lower highs. We also have a shoulder, head, shoulder. We have a bit of a head and shoulders pattern there. There are lots of things that we can see as a big picture. Or we can say, oh, I didn't see that and I didn't see this. How many times have you chatted to someone who's been the victim of a car accident? They've had a car accident and yeah, I didn't see it. Well, why weren't you looking? And it's not the same, it's not the same as a car accident, but you could be looking and you could be seeing. You could be questioning every single bar. Remember, we made this strategy called Inspect the Morse, and it was based on question every single bar. Every bar that happens, what do we know about that bar? Oh, well, that was a bit of a high test, and there is now a bearish fractal. What do we know about that bar? It's very bearish. Cool. And was there divergence or something? Well, yeah, we've already looked at that. What do we know about this bar? Very bearish, and it closed below a red line. Now we're thinking it through. We're seeing it all now, aren't we? Does this line agree with that line? Does this signal agree with this signal? Yeah. 2 doctors concur. We've only got 2 doctors on screen. Pips. And all. See the picture. If you can't see the whole picture, trim some of the trees. Remember, if you can't see the wood for the trees, cut down some of the trees until you can see the wood. See the divergence there, little kink, lower low, higher low. What do you got to do? You got to lock in. See the wedge? There's a wedge. You know where you've got to lock in. Nice one, Kim. And Jamil says, what are the main indications not to trade a pair all at that time? At all at that time. Well, range would be one of them, wouldn't they? If you can see range, and you know how to spot range, I've definitely taught you that. If you can see range, leave it alone. If we're going into a very heavy news issue like the FOMC or non-farm payroll, or if you've got minutes to go to that, you're not going to take a signal then, are you? Because you're adding to your risk. Yeah, you could be right, but you're gambling because you're adding to your risk. After the event, after it moves, yeah, you might get a big bar. See if it's pulling back and then go, or see if it breaks out and then go with a stop at the low of the new bar, and then you're minimizing your risk. You've always got to have a finger on the pulse of your risk, always, and know what your maximum liability and exposure is, and also know why. Why is it that? Well, because there's a line, because there's a news, because there's an indicator. Have a reason. Does that answer your question, Jamil? Is that okay? Are we good? Yes, cool. Thank you for that. Thank you. Thank you. Now we've managed to get 51 people on the session, and it's 6:45. I think it's been a very good session. If we go to full, we could go to full hour if you want, but I don't want to sort of bombard everyone with everything and then have you watch. Oh, there's a whole hour I've got to watch. So if you're happy, if you've any more questions, I'm happy to stay on. If you haven't, I'll end the recording and end the session here, and we'll do the same again next Monday. You're welcome, Ben, Damon. Thank you. You're welcome, Shane. No worries. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate your input as well. Remember, these sessions will only be any use whatsoever with your questions and with your feedback, because I know what I think. I know my answers, and I'll still learn new ones tomorrow. I keep trying to learn new things. Always, I will keep trying to learn new things. I'll never think I know it all. I'll always keep trying to learn new things. When I learn them, I'll share them with you. Happy days. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate all your feedback there. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'll call it a day then, and I look forward to seeing you on the live session in the morning where we will be looking for pips. Thanks, everyone. Good night.